back again. It's about 6:59 p.m. Mountain Time ish. I'm Max. Welcome to Max Rants. Now today's a little bit different. I'm going to read, as I have been, from Eyes on China, but I need to warn you. The following subjects can be very sensitive and graphic and could disturb people who have a more delicate or sensitive side. So please, as I read this, or if you read from the text, just understand it's the way it is. I'll try not to dwell in one area too long, but you gotta hear what you gotta hear. You know, what can I say? All right, here we go. We just finished talking about handicapped hell and how some babies are killed in delivery because they're deformed. We talked about the incredibly high number of deformities that the Chinese suffer from. Again, it's because, remember, they've been alone for 5,000 years. The land of mystery, the hidden kingdom. Nobody comes in. There's no such thing as an immigrant in China. Nobody immigrates to China because they don't want, as they say, the purity of their people to be defiled. And I'll go figure that one out, right? Well, here we go. Let's talk about that sensitive area. Birth Nazis. Abortion stormtroopers. They've got these things. We're going to talk about them. Understand, full-term abortions are rampant in many cities across the country where they have birth police. That's right. Let's talk about it. Pregnancy police. And they're particularly vigilant because they're paid per case. I mean, the size of the city has nothing to do with this. Okay? You have these ever vigilant birth Nazis as they often work on a bonus per baby basis. You kill 10 babies, you get 10 bonuses. And they can get quite a good income with a little bit of work. Yeah, it sucks. Of course it sucks. It makes me hurt. I mean, tales abound where women, nearly full term, maybe a few weeks or even days from their due date, are snatched off the street or from their workplace or taken to a hospital where a deadly procedure called full-term abortion takes place. You know, full-term abortion, that's infanticide. It really is. Out and out murder without medication, often. Okay? Without medicating the mother, these babies are often ripped from their mother's wombs and murdered on the spot. The women are pushed on and bent until it forces a delivery. And they don't care if it's a live or dead delivery. They yank that baby out by the head, and when it's out, they finish it. All too often, hospital staff allow just a few minutes of life laying on the mother's chest, just to give her a chance to see it, and it will lay there just long enough for her to see it before they kill it and toss it in the trash right in front of her. Been there, seen that, you can't deny that. More and more often, hospital administrators are demanding payment for this service. So these freelance abortion Nazis driving around looking for women ready to have a second baby, they take her into the hospital. The hospital wants a little money too. But the cost of having your baby ripped out of your womb, murdered, is usually about 3,000 UN. That's about 500 US dollars. And are you ready? It's the mothers who have to pay for it. Not the hospital, not the government, not these Nazis. It's the woman who just had the baby ripped from her and her family that are going to have to pay. And if they can't pay it, if for some reason they're just too poor, there are debtors' prisons in China. Yes, that's where they go. Debtors' prison. China we'll talk more about those debtor prisons later. They're a hell of their own. We're still in here with murdering unborn babies, murdering freshborn babies, murdering midway-born babies, hiding your handicapped and your crippled from sight. I mean, you know, they've got a thing there called, "We don't serve your kind." It's a little reminiscent, isn't it? African apartheid, 1940s America. Well, when you walk into a fast food restaurant, even one of those famous American chains with names that rhyme with Arnold or Ing. Understand, The first thing to get your attention is that the order counter, okay, is almost always on the second floor, which makes it inaccessible to the handicapped. The restrooms are also on the second floor, if there are restrooms at all. And they too often are almost never handicapped accessible. If you've seen a traditional Chinese toilet, you'll understand what I mean. It's a porcelain hole in the floor, and if they have a Western style toilet, again, it's on the upper floor. A Chinese squat toilet needs a lot of fitness, a lot of dexterity, flexibility, and stamina that a lot of the elderly, infirm, or obese simply do not have. There are no lifts or escalators in these restaurants. And there's sure as hell, there's no wheelchair ramp. So there you go. You walk into this restaurant. You want to have a burger. You want to feel like a king. You want to have a nice mix something burger. Look upstairs. Someone's going to have to go upstairs and order for you. If you're not kicked out of the restaurant right away, and they'll order it. When it's delivered, they got to bring it down to you or carry you in your wheelchair up the stairs. And I can tell you right now, if you try that, management will stop you. This is engineered inaccessibility. I don't believe in coincidence. A man of science, I can't believe in coincidence. All things happen for a reason. And the reason for isolated order counters and bathrooms, well, that's obvious, okay? China's society at large is so unwilling to tolerate the infirm among themselves that they engineer this isolation into every architectural style and application they can. They do it to keep the cripples out, and that's how they view it. There's no polite way to say it. There's no way in hell it's just a coincidence when it happens again and again, city after city, restaurant after restaurant, not even the same chains of restaurants. As a matter of fact, second floor bathrooms and order counters, those are established elements of commercial retail architecture in China. Just a side note here. When you finally do find a restroom, there will most certainly be no hot water or toilet paper. Not missing are the unavoidable aromas that only a well-used latrine can provide. Oh, the smells of China. Bring your own paper, BYOP. Bring some wet wipes too. I remember those days. Spent so many years living there. I've got a good friend who is afflicted with severe, really bad rheumatoid arthritis. And as with all RA sufferers, she has her good days, she has her bad days. On a bad day, she cannot eat at any of these fast food chains because they don't offer her any way to get to the upper floor. She can't even get in the store sometimes because there are 5 or 6 steps getting into the store, no ramp, no rail, and she just can't manage it. Let me burp. Oh, I love that burp button. So, even your more traditional sit-down restaurants, where the waiters and the waitresses serve you, where you're sitting in the ground floor, where the kitchen's just the other side of the wall, they're generally inaccessible to the handicapped, lacking wheelchair ramps or handrails on the stairs. Besides being handicapped inaccessible, is the overt refusal to serve the handicapped. I saw a handicapped fella, he was from Germany, don't know how the hell he got as far as he did. He'd been there for a few weeks. He sat in the table at that restaurant for almost an hour before they finally said, "You can leave now, we're out of food." He said, "They're eating food." They said, "Yes, but for you, we're out of food." I mean, one day I went with friends to a major burger franchise, one of America's top 2. As 2 of us lifted our friend's wheelchair into the store, it actually had a first floor service counter. Whoa! We, along with our wheelchair-bound buddy, were physically pushed out the door. Here we are trying to pick up his wheelchair, and all these communist little yellow-skinned bastards are pushing us out. What the restaurant workers had to say, I've never heard before. I've heard of it. And they said, "We don't serve their kind in here." You hear that? We don't serve your kind. We don't serve their kind. Doesn't that sound like apartheid South Africa? Feeling much like a black man in South Africa during the 70s, I waited outside with my friend in her wheelchair while my other companion went inside and bought the meals and brought them out to us. We decided that since it was a nice day, in Beijing a nice day is any day where you can see the sky, we would eat outside. We would dine al fresco. We sat at a clean umbrella-equipped table, many of them littering the sidewalk outside the restaurant. I moved a chair aside. My handicapped, she pulled her wheelchair up in position, and my third colleague arrived, heavily laden with all this soon-to-be-consumed delicious food. It only took a couple moments, okay, before we were hassled by a walking policeman, possibly private security. In China, they all look alike. And he told us that we could not park the wheelchair in a public place, so we moved on. Does that make your ass hurt? It does me. Well, their shopping malls or stores, they're all the same. We'll get into more of that tomorrow. We'll talk about shopping centers, malls, about being trapped because there's no escalator. You get on the top floor, they turn it off. Let's talk about that tomorrow. For tonight, thanks for listening. I'm Max. I'm reading from Eyes on China by Max Allen, available at Amazon.com for about $10. It's also available in ebook for less. Thank you for listening.